Um, Hi everyone. My name is Noluthando Gumede, and in today's talk, it's about. You can't hear me. Ish. Can you hear me now? Apologies. Testing. Okay. Hi everyone. Thank you for being here. So today's talk is about something so fundamental that we often forget it's even there, the pixel. From a simple monochrome dots to AI-generated images, pixels have evolved into powerful building blocks that shape everything we see on the screen. This talk is about resolution, but not just the technical sense of sharpness and screen specs. It's all about the perception, density, and the meaning. We'll look at how resolution has changed and how it reveals how we experience reality on screen. Firstly, what is a pixel? A pixel, which is short for picture elements, is the smallest unit of light or color on a digital screen, like a single dot on a much larger digital image. Resolution measures how many pixels make up an image, and a pixel does not have a fixed size, but rather scale up and scale down depending on the size of the screen and the pixel density. In the earliest technologies, such as radio displays and CRT monitors, pixels were extremely basic, just black or white, with no shades in between. These white bit pixels represented only two states, on and off, but they laid the groundwork for modern digital visuals. The image displayed here is the first digital photograph, which was created by Russell Hirsch in 1965, with a resolution of 176 times 176 pixels. And by the late 1980s and the early 1990s, display technology underwent a major leap forward with the introduction of video graphics array and super video graphics array standards. These advancements brought about what's often called color explosion, which is expanding the color depth from 8 bits, which allowed about 256 colors, to 16 bits and 24 bits, which now can display over 16 million colors per pixel. This breakthrough enabled photorealistic visuals, smoother gradients, and also natural skin tones. For many, this transformation was experienced firsthand in iconic software and games like Doom and early Photoshop. A major shift in display technology occurred in 2010 with the launch of the Apple's Retina display on the iPhone 4. The innovation wasn't about colors, but it was more about the pixel density. At 326 pixels per inch, the display reached a threshold where at a normal viewing distance, the human eye could no longer distinguish individual pixels. This marked a turning point. Resolution became about clarity and invisibility. Users began to expect seamless text and extra sharp images and smooth, lifelike visuals. These advancements basically triggered an industry-wide push towards the higher resolutions like 4K and 8K displays, and also the high dynamic range, which enhances the contrast and the color accuracy. The focus had shifted from simply displaying more pixels to delivering more immersive and realistic visual experiences. But then here's where the story flips. Pixels aren't just for displaying anymore, they're for sensing. Let's take, for instance, your smartphone camera, as an example. It has a million of sensor pixels, also called photosites. Instead of emitting light in like display pixels, they capture the lights, measuring brightness, color, and even motion. And augmented reality, AR, like your Snapchat filters and Apple's Vision Pro headsets, those camera pixels feed into the software that maps your face, your gestures, and also the physical world around you in real time. These pixels become data that powers the computer vision and gesture tracking and also depth sensing. We are now in an era where pixels aren't even stored manually. They're generated on demand. In video games, we use procedural generation, which is a mathematical technique that creates endless textures or landscapes using formulas. A popular method is called the Perlin noise, which simulates randomness while still looking natural. In AI, tools like generative adversarial networks and diffusion models, they can create images just from text. For example, if you can type a fox made of clouds under a neon moon, and AI generates a completely synthetic image, pixel by pixel, based on the learned patterns and from millions of training examples. This is where the pixels stop being manual and start being predicted. Of course, pixels aren't perfect. Sometimes we lose pixel quality on purpose through compression. For instance, JPEG for images and MP4 for videos. These formats use algorithms to throw away visual information we might not notice in order to save some space. But if you've ever zoomed in on a low quality image and seen blocky, distorted, or weird color bands on a picture, then you've actually seen compression artifacts. Even more seriously, pixels can be manipulated. Deepfakes, for example, uses AI to stitch someone's face or voice onto another video, making it seem real even though it isn't. These synthetic pixels are convincing, yet very dangerous at some point. As we enter an age of pixel fabrication, we need ethics, transparency tools, and public awareness to help us trust these tools. So where do we go after pixels? We're already experimenting with volume pixels, also known as voxels. These are 3D equivalent of pixels that are stored depth and not just surface color. Voxels power things like medical imaging, CT scans, and VR environments, and also 3D game worlds. Beyond voxels, we're exploring light fields, which is a way of capturing light from multiple angles. This enables holographic displays that look real from any direction. In future, we may not talk about pixels at all, but about complex structures that encode light, motion, geometry, and texture. The core idea of resolution, how we digitally represent reality, is evolving again. Thank you.